Thoth, the ibis-headed god, who's the god of wisdom. Okay? You had Ra, the falcon-headed god, who is the sun, and so forth. Because when you were in ancient Egypt and you saw the crocodiles in the Nile, and you saw the ibises flying, you were reminded that these are gods. These are the forms that the gods take. So if you kill an ibis wrongly, you could offend the god Thoth, and some sort of backlash would happen to you. Because these are representations, manifestations of the gods and goddesses. This is why the calf was so worshipped. There was a whole cult in Egypt called the Apis bull cult, where they worshiped bulls in a very systematic way. Okay? It was one of the most powerful cults in Egypt. So it's no wonder when we read the story of the Exodus, when they decide to make a god to go back to Egypt, they didn't choose an ibis, they didn't choose a beetle or a falcon or a snake. What did they choose? A cow, because that was one of the most powerful cults in Egypt. And they knew that because they lived with it for so many centuries. And so if they go back to Egypt with this golden god before them, they'd be welcome back in, you see? Isn't how all that connects? There's a reason why they chose a calf and not a falcon or a snake or a beetle or a crocodile. Okay? Because it was one of the chief cults of Egypt, one of the most powerful cults of Egypt. Okay? So this is part of this connection, is understanding that this first verse tells us all of this. And then finally, the seventh, for the first time in history, the Creator and the act of creation are completely desexualized. God doesn't need Mrs. God in order to create everything. You'd say, well, that's stupid. Why would you? Well, again, how was the universe and all the gods created in ancient Greece? The god, Uranos, mates with the goddess, Gaia, and she produces, like children, Kronos and Rhea, who then mate and produce Zeus, Hermes, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Apollo, Athena, Poseidon, Hades, etc. The sexual production of the gods create all of the other gods. This is true in Egypt. Nut, the goddess of the universe, mates with Geb, the earth god, and he creates Isis, Osiris, Set, Nephthys, and so forth. And they mate and produce all of the other gods. This is just how, again, very common mythological themes in pagan worlds, which is also why sex is so sacralized or sacralized in pagan cults. Because the gods mated to make other gods, then when we mate, we produce other humans and so forth. It's the fertility cycle. It's the relationship that this is what the gods do, we do. And this is a way to honor the gods through sex. Okay? In the Old Testament, God, like I said, doesn't need Mrs. God to make the universe. He just simply speaks it into existence, and it is so. Very different from the sexual acts that the gods and goddesses of pagan times would do in order to produce everything. And as I suspected, one verse all evening. Next week, we'll get into verse 2.